President Trump says we are engaged in direct nuclear talks with Iran.
Mr. President Ross, you said the other day that if they do not agree to a potential nuclear deal, that it would be very dangerous for them. What is specific?
Well, they can't have a nuclear.
Would you mean military action, though, if they don't agree?
Oh, if necessary? Absolutely. Yeah. For them to thrive. I want Iran to be great. The only thing they can't have is a nuclear weapon. They're in a rough situation, rough regime. But they understand, and the leaders understand. And I'm not asking for much.
Okay, State Department spokeswoman Tammy Bruce joining me now. Tammy, it really seems like America is preparing to attack Iran. That's what it looks like to everybody. What do you say?
Well, you know, the president has noted many times that he doesn't take anything off the table. And as we've learned over the last few days, reading The Art of the Deal is perhaps a really good idea for your audience. There's many different ways of dealing with a country like Iran and getting a deal. But one thing that we've seen, certainly from the State Department as it carries out President Trump's vision, is that diplomacy matters. This is a presidency that cares about diplomacy, about negotiating to stop wars that are in process, to stop the carnage, to get things finished and done through conversations, summits, and discussions. So that is really the hallmark of this administration and of Secretary Rubio. At the same time, why would the President of the United States, certainly not Donald Trump, why would he take a tool out of the tool chest as negotiations are possible? But when it comes to the upcoming situation, it's a meeting to just determine exactly how serious the Iranians really are.
One sticking point with Iran has always been outside inspectors of their nuclear facilities. They won't budge on this. Do you remember Reagan? Trust but verify? Iran doesn't want verification.
This is beyond the nature of what might be happening on Saturday, which, again, is determining what Iran is really interested in. But their world has changed dramatically. When we deal with the issue of Hamas, which is really decimated, certainly Hezbollah is on its heels, as are the Houthis. These death squads, these terrorist groups that Iran backs, are really falling away. They're really becoming weakened because of the nature of what's been happening in the Middle East and Israel's strength, and of course our allyship with Israel and our interest in changing the Middle East when it comes to this wash, rinse, and repeat regarding the violence. So President Trump wants new ideas, wants a new way forward, and I think that the old arguments don't work. Certainly old demands won't work. President Trump, as the world knows, is a different president for different times. And I think everyone's adjusting to it now. But I don't think Iran's going to be in a position where they're making the rules here.
I want you to listen to what Defense Secretary Hegseth had to say about China's influence on the Panama Canal. Roll that tape.
We've been in touch with President Trump. Obviously, he's the impetus for this. He put the spotlight on the importance of the Panama Canal, of securing it, of ensuring that Chinese influence does not exist here. They moved out of the Belt and Road Initiative. Panama did when Secretary Rubio came here. There's an audit that has exposed malign Chinese influence on ports that is hopefully bringing a new company in to control those.
Question, Tammy. Are tariffs going to come into the Panama debate? Could we use tariffs as leverage with China on Panama?
Well, I can't speculate on the nature of what might be. Again, diplomatic decisions. That's the core of Secretary Rubio's philosophy, right, is that diplomacy matters. He is the world's leading diplomat. Secretary Hegseth is correct. That was actually the first trip I took with Secretary Rubio was to Panama. I was in those meetings. It's a terrific country. And I think that we're already on the way. They've made terrific decisions, have made great progress in backing away from the Belt and Road Initiative. And now, of course, as we know, the nature of who's controlling the ports there as well. But this is, when it comes to the decisions of how how to work with an ally, how to get the change we need in the Western Hemisphere with a nation like China. That's going to move through certainly the diplomacy of Secretary Rubio, but President Trump is the visionary when it comes to what needs to happen here, and we're going to implement it.
Okay. Tammy, we hear you. Tammy Bruce.
Thank you.
Nice to have you back on the show. We'll see you again real soon,
sir.
Tammy. Thank you.